Hello, YouTube world, and welcome to Nose Picking. I'm Chris. I'll be the host of the show. I have decided to throw my name into the ring as far as YouTube lock picking videos go. Inspired, I really want to give a huge shout out to a lot of the channels that inspired me. The main three would be Bosnian Bill. Go check out his channel. It's a wonderful lock picking channel. Lock Noob, also a huge inspiration for me as far as YouTube lock picking channels. And Lock Picking Lawyer is another great one. Besides that, there's several others, often referenced by those three that I referenced. So just follow the chain down the rabbit hole. There's some amazing guys out there. This is the first episode, and I'm just going to kind of introduce you to myself and kind of my meager collection of locks and tools and things like that. I definitely want to clarify. I chose the name for my channel, Nose Picking, just for the funny play on words there. I definitely do not know picking, as it were. I'm a huge beginner, as you'll kind of see if you watch through some of this stuff and go out on this journey with me. Let's go ahead and introduce you to some of my stuff. Of course, I have I think everybody kind of gets one of these, the clear acrylic practice locks. Nothing too fancy about that, but I've got one. I've picked it several times. 6 just standard pins in there. Nothing too exciting. Shortly after that, I just found around the house this master lock, master number 3 here. Again, a kind of a standard starter lock for folks, and no key to go with this one, so I've only been able to pick it open a few times. Well, I shouldn't say that. I've picked it open several times, but I can only pick it open because I don't have a key for it. It picked that the first day when I first got my lock picking stuff. Had a lot of fun with that. Shortly after that, I rushed right out to buy the cheapest padlock that I could find to pick open, and so I picked up this master, not really knowing what I was getting into yet, and so you'll find something a little different looking there about those keys. And that's because it's not a pin tumbler lock, it's a warded padlock. Didn't have any warded picks that day, so this kind of sat around not doing anything. Since then, I have picked up a set of warded picks. This is the set from Southward, so I've picked this lock a couple times since then. Not a whole lot to it, but shortly following that, I picked up a couple more locks. I picked up this little guy, just pretty much a clone of the standard, like Master number 1 or Master number 3. It's a 40 millimeter, 45 millimeter, if you can see that there. Just Chinese, very basic lock, pretty easy to pick open just by looking at it sideways. I think the same day I also picked up this, just another Master number 3 there. Just got it new, so it's got some keys to go with it. As you can see, nothing real radical on the key bitting there, but it's a fun one to pick open. One thing, this goes to just show what an absolute beginner I am at this. I have a really hard time single pin picking these master number 3s. I find the keyway a little bit constrictive, believe it or not. I can rock it open easily with my city rake, but I struggle to single pin pick them. That goes to show how much of a beginner I am. Shortly after that, I picked up this fella, very similar looking to that master number 3. A little bit better bitting to the key there. You see that one really low cut pin there towards the what I would call the back of the key, but would be the front of the lock. Anyway, this one is a lot of fun to pick. Obviously I've never taken it apart. It's one of these laminated locks, so the only way to get it apart is to destroy it, but it seems to have spool pins in there, and watching all the videos of those guys picking those spool pins and talking about counter rotation and everything, I had a hard time believing that it would be as apparent as it is, but this lock really does show it. So maybe we'll get to see some of that in a later video. I'll pick this, but you can really feel the counter rotation out of those spool pins. I think feels to me, to my own experienced hand, like there's 2 spools in this lock. I also got this. That one was a Brinks, by the way, in case I didn't mention that. This one also a Brinks. I believe brass would be the material here. A 5-pinner here, whereas the last one, all the other locks that we talked about were 4-pinners, except for the clear acrylic one. This one is brass, and I don't believe it has any spools in it. I believe it has lots and lots of serrated pins. Very, very large, wide open keyway to it. Nothing real crazy on the bitting. It took me a long time to single pin pick this. I was actually able to just rake it open by accident a couple times because that bitting is so sort of flat across there. But I've recently gotten a lot better at single pin picking it, getting to where I can do it a little bit more regularly. So we'll hopefully get to demonstrate that on video sometime. Around the house, I stumbled across this neat little antique Yale lock. I say antique, I'm not an expert. It appears to be fairly old. No key for it. It was just lying around the house, and so I started messing around with it a little bit and discovered pretty quickly, we probably won't be able to see, my camera's not that good, but it's not a pin tumbler lock. It's a wafer lock or disc detainer lock. I'm not sure if there's a difference or if those terms are interchangeable or what, but it's got more of the flat kind of little wafers or discs that fall down in there instead of pin tumblers. I have picked it open. Obviously, you can see it's open now, and I don't have a key to it, so kind of fun. Something a little different, a little more challenging. I picked up a couple more masters after that. This little guy here, very, very lightweight. I would guess that he would be pretty easy to destroy and get into that way if if you weren't into picking. Some fairly decent bitting to it there, some highs and low cuts and everything, and a little bit different keyway from most of the other master stuff. I actually have a little bit easier time getting into this keyway than the one for the master number 3. But I've single pin picked this guy open a couple times, so yeah, I'll try to demonstrate that for you guys. And at the same time that I got this guy, I also picked up this kind of weather shielded, weather protected master. I was hoping that it would be a removable core. I'd seen videos of the master, I believe it's called the Master 911 or Master 911, that does have a removable core. This one's not. This is just almost, I'd say a master number 3. It's a laminated padlock underneath this weather guard. I have taken the weather guard off, and it's just a laminated padlock under there. I believe the same core as the master number 3. Looks like the same keyway to me. 4-pin. So there's the key there. It's not terrible. Kind of difficult to single pin pick. Again, like I said, I'm not very good at getting into that particular keyway with single pin picking. That's what a noob I am. But I have been into it, single pin picked into it before. That brings me to this guy. This guy is kind of my pride and joy, if you will. I found this lock at work. It's an American 1200 series. I know the 1100 series gets a lot of mentions on the YouTube channels that I follow, Lock Noob and Bosnian Bill and those guys. I'm not sure what the difference is, if the size of the lock is physically a little bit different or if it's just the guts. But anyway, this guy I found at work, no key to go with it, so I asked if I could take it home, and they said yeah, that was fine. It didn't have any use. So I took it home and I worked on this thing for weeks. Very hard to pick open. It has several security pins in there, and just because of its age, the inside of the lock is a little bit worn. It's very crunchy, so to speak. So I had a very hard time getting into it. But when I finally did, I was able, I picked my way into it, disassembled it, tore it down, and tore it apart and everything, and was able to hand cut this key. You'll notice the cuts on there are not, don't look anything like a machine cut. I just cut those with a round file, and now as you can see, it works really well. So I'm super proud of that. I've not been able to pick my way into it since, so that's a little bit frustrating. I'm not sure how I did it that first time, just blind luck, I suppose, but still working on this guy. But the proof that I did actually pick my way into this at least once is right here in this key that I cut myself. So that was very cool, and it was very fun disassembling the lock. It's one of the only removable core locks that I have, and was the only removable core lock that I had at the time that I picked my way into it. So that brings me to these last two. These last two are new to me. I picked this guy up at sort of an antique store the other day, Slaymaker. Also, again, you'll notice not a pin tumbler. It's a disc cylinder. So looking forward to getting into that one. I've been kind of holding off to try out these new ones since I decided to start this YouTube channel. So I'll hopefully get to pick my way into these in front of you guys. And then in the same place, I found this guy. Another, you can hardly see the writing there, my camera's not good, but another American brand lock. And the U.S., it was in service to the armed forces or some sort of government branch. It does have a key to go with it. Pretty decent bitting to it. Looks like the keyway is going to be a little bit more open than it is on that 1200 series. The lock is pretty old and worn out, does work. It's a little bit grimy feeling. And I believe it's going to have a removable core, so I'm looking forward to hopefully picking this thing and gutting it. Again, I've been saving this to do it for my channel, for you guys. So that is the extent of my collection of locks. So we'll move on to the tools that I have. Of course, like most everybody, I started out, I may have to move my camera back some, but I started out with this Goso pick set off of Amazon for like $20 or something. It wasn't real expensive. It came with that clear acrylic lock back there, so that's where all that came from. Not an amazing set, as you'll find if you've watched any of the other guys, Bosnian Bill or any of those. The picks in it are fairly thick compared to some of the more name brand stuff, and the metal is just not really great. It's not like spring steel or anything. It'll bend and break. I have broke several picks out of this kit. One thing, and again, this goes to show what a sort of beginner I am, so to speak. Of course, a lot of these sort of windshield wiper style torque wrenches, tension wrenches, get a lot of the attention as far as bottom of the keyway, and I don't enjoy these. I have not had any luck with them, and I just can't. They don't work really well for me. And so my favorite tension wrench is the one out of this Goso set, and that's this little round Z-shaped guy. Definitely my go-to favorite tension wrench. So I keep him in my current kit. Anyway, this kit here, not amazing, but it worked for me to get into the first couple of locks. I broke a few picks out of it. The case is pretty decent. It's got a bunch of these other tools for like wafer locks and things like that. So there's that. Since then, I have upgraded to this, the Southward, the PXS14 kit. Much higher quality picks in it. Even though they're not like really thin like Euro type picks, they're thinner than what's in that Goso kit, and the quality of the steel is considerably higher. That's where I did finally get some of these types of tension wrenches. Again, I'm not a big fan of them, but I do have them there. There's some locks that I can get them to work in. But yeah, I carry my round Z wrench, my favorite tension wrench, in there with it. And that is the extent of my equipment at this time, guys. Thanks so much for checking me out, and I'll be trying to put out a couple more videos here over the next couple of weeks or so, couple days, probably front load a couple and then go to like a weekly update or something like that. We'll see. I'm going to try to keep my videos down around the 10-minute mark or so, and this one's obviously gone a little bit longer. Besides that, I'll pretty much work on a lock for about 10 minutes. If I don't get into it, I'll probably still go ahead and post that video so you guys can see my failures because of what a beginner I am. And then, yeah, so hopefully you guys kind of enjoyed this introduction. I know we didn't really do any picking, so I'll get into that first thing. But then, other than that, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys again soon. Bye.